What is going on, guys? Kazan here, back at you with another recording yet again. I know. And in this video, I wanted to continue on what I recorded in the last video. I just recorded a video not that long ago talking about how you should be single and how you should enjoy being single, and that there isn't really a rush to get in a relationship. In this video, I wanted to piggyback off that topic and talk about how dating apps are like the biggest failure to society, and how they've actually done a worse to society. Right? Society has been fixated and forced into these dating apps, and I've had so many of my friends get on these apps and start talking to women, and it just never works. It just doesn't seem to work. Like, they're always trying to up their game, make their account look better, or like change their other social medias to better fit themselves to look more presentable online. And it's just like, you're just like, I think that on the internet as a whole, even not just dating apps here, just kind of effectively ruins us as people, right? We see so many success stories and how people are and what they look like and how great they look online, even though it's all fake, and edited, and especially with AI now, who knows what people are doing to themselves on their pictures to make them look better and make their lives look so much cooler, and how they buy their fake cars. And I think that, like, because of that, and I think dating apps are just still worse in this time and era, because dating apps piggyback off that, right? They piggyback off people, faking who they look like and faking their hobbies and interests to make themselves look presentable and cool, make themselves look more dateable than what, the average actual society person needs, right? I look way hotter than I normally do in my photos, and you're going to swipe right because of that. Or, I'm going to talk about all this stuff or the cool new trend, and I love that. Oh, you like this new trend too? Well, we're totally compatible. But I think that, like, all of that just doesn't work, and we need to go back to our roots, right? Go back to meeting people in real person, right? Like, and if you don't really know how to do that, I hope I can maybe give you some tips and things. And the simple way of doing that is just joining an activity, right? Literally, I don't care what your hobbies are or interests, but if you have any interest or hobby right now, I want you to write all your interests and hobbies down on a piece of paper, or like in a notes page, well, at least five, right? Try to down at least five, If you have more, sure, you can write more. And then out of all of those, look at the three you actually truly love the most. So your three, like, favorite, most interesting hobbies out of all the list of hobbies or interests you have. And then out of those, I want you to go online and literally just look up, like, club or like group of this topic, and try to see it in like your area, and literally just try to find a group or people that like hang out and do this thing in person, and just go out and do that thing, right? I think, like, the best example of groups of this working out is like run groups. Like, people all the time, will go out and run together and try to train and exercise. And I think that, like, you can easily, if you love running, join one of these groups, start talking to other people that like your same hobbies and interests you are. And I think that, like, just doing that alone, that alone will just open the door to meeting so many people. And all those people will have a lot of same common interests in you and stuff. And I have a friend who is really into rock climbing, and he liked rock climbing so much he started working at our local rock climbing gym in our city and stuff, and got really deep into that. And he was able to meet so many people and things, both genders, all kinds of different faces and things, and get to really know and build a friend group and bond with all these people over this hobby and interest he liked. And I think that that's just really cool and interesting. And I think that you're able to do that too. Like, what's stopping you from, seeing something you love, going out there and just starting to do it, right? Just starting to, like, spend a little time, it doesn't have to be every day, but, like, only once or twice a week is all it really takes, just showing up to this thing, meeting these people, getting to know them. I think that, like, the older generations prove that this works, and that's really interesting. Like, people, like, older women all the time all go to book clubs at the library, and hang out and spend time, and that's how they kind of gather around and meet themselves. And I just say, like, us as humans have failed to do that and failed to realize how to actually meet someone in person, how to actually go out there and get active, right? And try to find someone who truly matters in things. And another thing about online and dating apps is, like, that, like, who evens to say that they live near you, right? I know so many people who, like, online date, or date across the world, and sure, sometimes it works, but I think the long distance relationship is the worst kind of relationship, right? Because you can't actually truly live out, what a relationship is. You can't fully give yourself to this person because, you're not there to give yourself to them, right? They can't see the real you. They can't actually, experience, the small quirks and the downsides of you, especially, right? And I think that's the failure of online relationships, and why once they finally meet, a lot of them fail out, right? Like, you can't see, like, and I think, and like, the internet also does that, and that's why I think dating apps are just the wrong thing, right? They just they paint the best of qualities of someone, right? You get to see all their good qualities and never their bad, and never the mistakes they make, and never this and that. And you kind of paint this picture in your head and expecting all of these things, and when that doesn't come to fruition, you kind of are disappointed, and as you should be, right? You should be disappointed, right? Like you were expecting all of this, but you never got that, right? It wasn't all that, This didn't look exactly how it did, or you don't actually like this as much as you said you did. It seemed like you did on your profile, and in reality, it just doesn't work out as well as it should, right? Whereas if you're forced to make eye to eye contact, in real life, talk in person, you get to see the downsides, you get to see the mistakes that happen, and you get to really for them to actually fully express and tell you the real them, right? And I mean, I guess you could sit here and tell me that, like, oh yeah, what if they just lie to your face? Like, yeah, sure, they could lie to your face. I'm not gonna say that's impossible, but like, let's be real, people are way less likely to lie, and they can't lie about their looks at the very least. So at least there's something that you gain from doing it in person, is that they can't lie how they look in person, right? So you're already off to a better start by trying to find love outside of online and outside of being on the screen. Actually getting out there and using your two eyes and seeing what there is to offer, right? Seeing what's around you more, right? Like I feel like another thing is that like you don't actually know how close you are to a relationship, how close you are to actually finding something that you want, right? I had a friend, another friend of mine, another good example is he was using dating apps for a long time and trying to find out a partner, and he had a few dates and stuff, but none of it really worked out. And then out of nowhere, he started having a relationship with a girlfriend, and he's like, "Oh, wait, did you meet her on the dating app?" And it's like, actually, no. Funnily enough, I stumbled upon her at my college. I bumped into her, and we started chatting about some things, and it just worked out, right? And I know that's like kind of crazy, and I kind of cut some things out of the story, but you get the point there that like he was so fixated on using the app and trying to find his girlfriend that way, but he was able to able to by chance go around in person and bump into someone and started dating, and just getting himself in the door on the dating scene. And I think that's just so much better and cleaner and more real than these fake artificially algorithmic dating apps. Dating apps are designed to keep you swiping right, right? And like they're also designed to like take your money, right? Like you can like I've never had a dating app, but I've seen my friends use them before, and I don't know what they're all called. I think it was Hinge or whatever. And like you can use you like get roses or something, or you can buy more roses, and like a rose is like something extra you can give to them, and it's like that's like so stupid to me that like you're spending money to gain extra swipes or gain extra like power to give people or like talk to them on there. It's like, what? Why would I ever want to do any of this, or why would I ever waste my money on that kind of thing when I could go in person, talk to someone for completely free, and if it actually works out, maybe then treat them to dinner or something, only then waste my money and time with them, and instead of like talking to a brick wall on the thing who would never respond to me, or giving or spending the money to give out that rose, and the rose just never, I never get anything back. I think that's just crazy to me. It's like saying you're gonna give someone $100. It's not 100, but let's say five. You just give someone $5 in person. It's like, date me. It's like, what? Like it doesn't sound weird on the dating app, but like in person, that just sounds crazy, right? It just sounds insane. If you're basically kind of offering money as an excuse way to to start talking to someone, right? Or like, hey, I'm bribing you to date me, and that just feels so fake. And that's why I feel like your relationship just is bound doomed to fail at that point. And I feel like anyone can tell at that rate. And I don't know. And I kind of ramble on about my things and opinions, but I just like to get things off of my chest. Really, that's kind of all I really do on this channel, right? I just like to express what I'm thinking at the moment. How I see the world at the moment. The world is such a crazy thing, and there's so many different opinions and views, and I just want to share what I have to say about it. Share my thoughts on things. There's so many different ways people think. Like the human brain is so complex, and that's like another reason why I feel like you need to actually talk to them and really get to know their brain and on an individual level, rather than just over text or just over these small inconsistencies, or like you have to have that background or that already, mutual thing you like to really get yourself in the door. And I hope that you gain something from this video. Like I said, I kind of mumble on and ramble in these videos and say all these different things, but I hope you can gain something from this video and maybe apply yourself, you know, really value what you're looking for in a partner and yourself, and hope you can use that to your advantage. But as always, guys, this was Casino, and peace out.